Tonight, exclusive, two teenagers share the pain of losing a mate as P-plate laws face change. The teenager at risk of a heart attack. A doctor takes the stand in Perth's starvation case. The economic powerhouse of Australia, what's driving WA to become the best in the nation? Emergency services ready as the bushfire season arrives, the prediction for summer. The Australian-made test detecting Alzheimer's faster than ever. And taking centre stage, a first look inside the new home of ECU and the Academy of Performing Arts.
Live from Perth, 7 News with Susannah Carr.
Good evening. As P-plate drivers face tougher rules behind the wheel, tonight two teenagers who know what it's like to lose a mate feel like they've made a powerful plea. Tyler Rowe and Josh Jackson survived the horror crash that killed their close friend Nick Campo. They're sharing their pain, hoping it's heard by other young drivers.
Tyler Rowe and Josh Jackson never thought it would happen to them.
Just ended up getting in this car because there was a lift. And then all of a sudden I just woken up in hospital.
That car was the same one which rolled on Farrington Road in North Lake in July, a crash in which their close mate, 18-year-old Nick Campo, lost his life.
Gun at everything he did, like footy, cricket. I know he's just one of the blokes he just asked to hang out with just because he was that much of a good bloke.
As they've tried to recover in the months since their ordeal, they've watched WA's road toll continue to climb.
I know every young kid who'd be watching this would be thinking it's not going to happen to me, because I know it's definitely what I thought. We're just proof that it does happen, it can happen to anyone.
They've welcomed Tom's Law, which will see young drivers limited to one passenger in their first 6 months of their P-plates, but they believe stronger awareness and education are needed.
What's the fine? $200? Mm-hmm. If the fine's only that, then what's gonna stop them from having people in the car?
For too many weeks now, we've seen friends, partners and parents sharing their heartbreak as the road toll climbs. For Tyler, Josh and so many others, it was just one choice which changed so many lives forever. Their message to anyone getting in a car: think again about that choice.
And just thinking to yourself, is it worth it?
A question they hope will stay with everyone out on the roads. Nick Overall, 7 News.
The District Court is hearing more about why two Floreat parents denied their daughter hospital care despite medical claims she was starving. A top paediatric doctor took to the stand today, telling the court the 17-year-old weighed just 28 kilos when she was admitted.
This teenager presented to Perth Children's Hospital with severe malnourishment, a high risk of cardiac arrest and an urgent need for a nasal feeding tube. A dire diagnosis the District Court heard her dad refused to accept, and then went on to berate hospital staff, telling them the hospital is killing kids and there is nothing wrong with my child. That's according to the top doctor at Perth Children's Hospital's Child Protection Unit, who's giving evidence at the trial of a father accused of neglecting his daughter with the help of the girl's mother. Their teenager weighing just 28 kilograms upon presenting to hospital. The trial heard her parents reported her as 42 kilograms. Dr. Johnson detailed the girl's medical history from hospital records, her height and weight both below average between birth and 5 years old. A small child growing appropriately, in the doctor's opinion. The team was ultimately removed from her parents' care, with the department to make decisions on her treatment. The court heard her parents still continued to bring her food from home against doctors' wishes. They are pleading not guilty to the charges and maintain there was nothing wrong with their girl. Cassidy Moscone, 7 News.
There are 8 days to go until America decides its next president. Kamala Harris has hit the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania, while Donald Trump's return to his home city of New York raised plenty of eyebrows as he hosted a rally that's been slammed as racist and vulgar.
And I'm proud to be an American.
A former New Yorker back at home and brimming with bravado.
If we win,
Our enemies won't be laughing anymore. They're not going to be laughing.
Madison Square Garden. It's a spotlight Donald Trump has long craved, and the stage had been set.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist.
Needs to be a landslide. We need to slaughter this other people.
An all-star conservative cast. Dialing up the ugliness.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Rounding on immigrants.
But the illegals, they get whatever they want, don't they?
There's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
As well as political rivals past.
She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a...
And present.
Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
The vilification of Vice President Harris.
As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former...
Had some tuning out.
We're hearing scores of lies.
Others relish the display.
Fight for Trump.
His supporters lining the streets.
MAGA, baby.
As the deep blue city turned MAGA red, some drew comparisons with the past.
There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
And all Melania saw was a chance to finally break campaign cover and join the trail. As Democrats fought it out in pivotal Pennsylvania.
Well, it's hardly Madison Square Garden, but this election won't be won or lost in New York City. This final push is about stitching together enough support in just a few swing states.
9 days to get this done.
We all want the country to go in the right direction.
This is an inflection point, really, for the rest of the 21st century.
Just what direction that is, we'll all know soon enough. In Philadelphia, David Woywood, 7 News.
7 News can reveal Albanese government strategists are now working on a string of big policy announcements, hoping to regain momentum following the Queensland election. The Treasurer says Labor will learn vital lessons from the defeat, but new spending won't be a free-for-all.
Making it official. David Crisafulli, the new Premier of the Sunshine State, earlier on 7 Sunrise, restrained.
Do you think this is a warning for Anthony Albanese, given that that federal election's only months away?
I'm not a political commentator now.
His federal leader isn't so reluctant. Peter Dutton declaring a bad government has been swept from office.
I think it's what's going to happen at a federal level as well, because the Prime Minister has promised a lot for Australians, and he's delivered nothing.
Federal Labor worried traditional voters deserted it in its regional and urban heartlands.
We won't be ignoring the lessons of Saturday.
One of the biggest to do more on cost of living.
We've been coming at this cost of living challenge from every conceivable and responsible angle.
But promises any additional relief will be responsible, insisting he won't splash the cash to buy back favour at the coming federal poll.
This election was never going to be, from our side, a free-for-all of public spending.
7 News can reveal government strategists are working tonight on a series of eye-catching announcements to roll out before Christmas, aimed at recapturing voters' attention and laying out a second-term agenda. 7 News has also learned all government departments have been directed to work up new cost of living proposals, some to be unveiled in a pre-election budget early next year.
There are always things that we can do better.
Winning elections, the biggest. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The latest economic snapshot shows WA is now the powerhouse of the nation, taking the crown as Australia's best performing economy. A strong job market and population growth is being credited as the driving force.
For the first time in a decade, resource-rich Western Australia is the country's best-performing economy, thanks to strong consumer spending and population growth and low unemployment. Last year's winner, South Australia, dropped to second, despite recording the best economic growth in the nation, while the Sunshine State made a big jump from fifth to third, thanks to an increase in home lending. Queensland leapfrogging Victoria, which lags when it comes to infrastructure infrastructure investment. And despite boasting the nation's largest state economy, New South Wales ranked 7th overall and on 3 key indicators, because Sydney-siders in particular are interest rate sensitive with large mortgages, meaning the state is being held back by higher borrowing costs.
The scandal engulfing the Prime Minister over his free Qantas upgrades is deepening. Opposition MPs, including leader Peter Dutton, have also been outed for accepting airline perks they say they never asked for.
It's been named the Upgrade Hotline, with claims it had one frequent caller.
The Prime Minister had a hotline to Qantas that everyday Australians don't have.
Anthony Albanese hammered over claims in a new book he received 22 flight upgrades, some after personal calls to former Qantas CEO Alan Joyce.
That's the one that doesn't pass the pub test.
Value, tens of thousands of dollars.
If you're sort of suggesting a Transport Minister shouldn't catch aeroplanes and instead should hitchhike up the Hume Highway, I don't think that's realistic.
Some were for personal holidays. Qantas business class upgrades to LA return, another to Europe return on Emirates, Rome return with son Nathan, twice to London, twice to Hawaii, but all within the rules.
This has been on the public record the whole time.
But as the coalition was pointing the finger, revelations that enjoyed the pointy end as well. Barnaby Joyce, 8 free flights. Opposition leader Peter Dutton, 14 upgrades to London, New Zealand, Glasgow and back from Singapore.
None of which happened as a result of me calling my best friend, Alan Joyce.
The opposition aviation spokesman denied any upgrade kickbacks.
I have not received an upgrade from Qantas.
But her own registry records show otherwise. 2018 flight upgrade provided by Qantas.
When 7 News later put that to Senator Mackenzie, she quickly backtracked, admitting she may have accepted free flights and upgrades, but insisting she'd never solicited them.
Ethics experts calling for tighter rules.
Those allegations definitely raise alarm bells.
Many saying it's time to scrap the perk completely. Chris Reason, 7 News.
A Perth woman who faked her own death to secure a $700,000 insurance payout has been sentenced to 3 years behind bars. 43-year-old Karen Salkild says she got the idea from a movie after finding herself in huge debt. The gym owner claimed she died in a car crash in Broome last year. She raised suspicions when she started moving money around and was eventually found out in March. The company behind some of Australia's biggest fashion brands is on the brink of collapse. Mosaic, whose brands include retailers Rivers, Katie's, Miller's and Noni B, has entered voluntary administration. The future of its 700 stores across the country, as well as the jobs of thousands of employees, are tonight in jeopardy. The federal government is cracking down on dodgy providers to the National Disability Insurance Scheme who hurt or injure participants. Maximum fines of $15 million are being proposed, as well as new powers for the Commission to refer fraud to police sooner.
I want to make sure that for all the many great disability support workers, that the few shonks, charlatans and incompetent and negligent or dishonest people are driven out.
The opposition is welcoming the proposed laws, but is questioning why it's only being done now. It might only be spring, but WA is now officially in bushfire season. With temperatures hitting the 30s this week, firefighting aircraft have been placed on standby early.
They're fast, efficient and ready for action. These 2 helitack are now on standby a week early as temperatures soar this week.
We're forecasting another challenging bushfire season. I think we had a really long dry season at the start of 2024, and I don't think it's going to take long for the rest of the fuels to dry out this year.
Fires already popping up around WA. It's officially bushfire season. And fire authorities say with 2 new Black Hawks joining the fleet, it's ready.
The 38 aircraft we have is the most we've ever had for a fire season.
These helitacks hold almost 3,000 litres of water at a time, and they're very fast to fill up again. This is a snorkel. It can dip into almost any freshwater source, and it only takes 35 seconds to fill the tank again. It's been 4 years since the devastating Warraloo bushfire that destroyed more than 80 homes. An inquiry recommending a permanent incident command centre be established in the hills. The opposition says the government has failed to build it or improve the dismal phone coverage.
Neither of those commitments have been delivered, leaving hills, communities and more broadly Western Australia more vulnerable as we approach our high threat period.
We've been working with the federal government in relation to that particular part of the Woolloomooloo fire incident report. We're continuing to work with the federal government in relation to that particular recommendation.
For those living in bushfire zones,
we've done all our work and now it's up to the community. It's shared responsibility, we've always said that. It's their turn to make sure they have a bushfire plan in place. They prepare their properties for the bushfire season.
Chantel Tui, 7 News.
We've been given the first look inside the new city campus of Edith Cowan University and the WA Academy of Performing Arts. A celebrity performer could appear at the campus to help spread its name globally.
This performance by First Nations students will go in the records as the first in what is set to become a world-class place of learning. When it's finished, the 8 performance and teaching spaces will look like this. Rehearsal rooms and public performance theatres with cutting-edge acoustics and technology. A new home to ECU's world-class Academy of Performing Arts.
The transformational $30 million 25-year partnership supports the future excellence, internationalisation, sustainability of WAPA.
Made possible by an endowment from the Minderoo Foundation. It's a far cry from the days when famous former WAPA students like Hugh Jackman, Lucy Durack and Tim Minchin honed their craft and went on to international success. Several $1 million of the endowment will be used to attract accomplished performers to teaching residencies. There's still a year of construction and fit-out to go before completion. WAPA will be joined by business, law and technology, 10,000 students and staff injecting new life into the city. It's the beating heart of the so-called City Deal. There are 3 partners in the $1.7 billion City Deal: the state government, the federal government and the City of Perth. But it seems as far as the state's concerned now, the city doesn't exist.
No, not at all. And this is a very important part of the City Deal. It's not the total of it, and there's other parts of the City Deal which do involve the City of Perth.
Jeff Parry, 7 News.
Sam Jolly joins us now. We're back in the 30s, Sam.
It's been a while, Sue. We have quite a run of days at the 30 plus this week. Thankfully, though, the forecast has changed a little bit, so we don't have those scorches expected anymore. But this is still well above average for this time of year. We got to 31.8 degrees in the city this afternoon. That was just before 2:30, and it was warmish last night. The overnight low was 14.4. Our hotspot today was Perth Airport, 33 degrees. Ellenbrook was about the same. We had 32 for Jandakot and it was 30 along the coast in Yantjipakul, 28 for Rockingham and Baldivis. We have a high and a west coast trough working together to drive this heat. Heat is also building in the wheat belt with temperatures climbing 8 to 14 degrees above average. It will stay warm in Perth for a while, but the southerly winds will make it a bit cooler along our coast. I'll be back with the new forecast right after sport, Sue.
Thanks, Sam. And this is 7 News live from Perth. Coming up, Australian Alzheimer's breakthrough. The simple blood test that can detect the disease early. Also, what sent Joondalup Hospital's emergency department into lockdown? A deadly new terrorist attack inside Israel. Bombshell drug claims from John Farnham. And the retailers and brands shoppers have voted the best. That's later.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want. Download now.
Joondalup Health Campus was sent into lockdown last night after a gun was fired in the emergency department. It happened just before 7 o'clock. Police say nobody at the hospital was threatened with the gun. The man in possession of the firearm is receiving treatment for a gunshot wound. He's in a stable condition. It's understood he is a relative of a current patient. Benjamin Netanyahu has been heckled by relatives of Israelis killed in the October 7 attacks. Hopes of a path to peace in the Middle East continue to be derailed after a deadly terror attack in Tel Aviv.
Israel has conflict raging across many of its borders, but there is still danger within its own. This truck ploughed into a bus stop in Tel Aviv, killing one, injuring dozens. Police called it a terror attack carried out by an Arab Israeli. It happened on a day Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attended an October 7 memorial. His speech drawing this response. Families of victims interrupting, shouting, "Shame on you." Their anger over how the Hamas attack was allowed to happen and a failure to bring hostages home. A goal that is inching closer. Egypt mediators proposing a 2-day ceasefire for the release of more captives. Israel must now consider the deal, as Iran is considering its next move. Its supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, responding for the first time since Israel's attack targeting military facilities. The hardline cleric calling it an evil committed by a Zionist regime. The world now waits to see what actions follow those words. In London, Joel Dry, 7 News.
It was as spectacular as it was destructive. All hell broke loose at a fireworks shop in India when it went up in flames. The inferno set off pyrotechnics inside the store in an hour-long frenzy. Some customers and workers were hit by exploding firecrackers as they scrambled to safety. Remarkably, no one was seriously hurt. A British MP has been caught out throwing punches in a wild street fight. The British Labour Party has suspended Mike Amesbury, who's accused of knocking a man to the ground and punching him in the head 6 times.
The MP are on course, smacking someone on the floor.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And you won't threaten the MP ever again, will you?
Amesbury claims he felt threatened and reported the altercation to police himself. Music legend John Farnham has made startling new claims about his former manager. In a new excerpt from his memoir, he says he was secretly drugged in the early years of his career. The disturbing claims centre around Daryl Samble, Farnham's manager during his time as a teen pop idol in the 60s. He claims the penny dropped when he saw a half-dissolved pill in his coffee. Farnham's memoir, The Voice Inside, will be released later this week. Australian researchers have discovered a simple blood test to detect Alzheimer's earlier than ever. Their breakthrough will enable patients to be treated more quickly and effectively.
For a disease that affects almost 300,000 Australians, advancements have been slow.
It takes about 3 years to be given a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, and that's valuable time that's lost.
Until now, testing for the condition involved sending blood to the United States to be assessed on specialist equipment. But in a major breakthrough, testing can now be done on standard pathology machines, quickly and cheaply. The cost, just $100.
You can get the test at the moment if you send your blood to the United States for $1,500, but this is a major cost reduction.
The study involved 388 patients, with the simplified test proving 92% accurate. The test will become available in Australia in around 2 years.
The new test not only detects the disease itself, it also indicates how advanced it is, with researchers hoping it will help doctors choose the best treatment for the early stages.
It comes as a new Alzheimer's drug, lecanemab, has been proven to reduce cognitive decline and is available overseas. But last week, Australia's drug regulator, the TGA, rejected its approval here. Experts want that decision reversed.
It's been a long journey getting a drug that does something to Alzheimer's disease.
It was disappointing to thousands of people living with dementia.
In the meantime, a trial of the simple blood test involving GPs is underway in Melbourne, Adelaide and Newcastle. Karina Carvalho, 7 News.
A once famous Perth cafe is making a comeback. The Magic Apple is back as a beachside suburb transforms. A close call as a police car makes an emergency turn. A woman's remarkable survival after 2 weeks lost and hurt in the bush. Homes in a hurry, the houses built in just a few weeks. And still to come, shoppers have their say. The survey revealing Australia's favourite brands and retailers. That's later.
We've never seen this before.
A former Australian T20 cricketer has narrowly avoided being sent to jail, this time for assaulting a security guard on the job. Luke Pommersback admitted to shoving the worker to the ground in August while he was serving a suspended prison term for another violent crime. The 40-year-old was given a second chance, sentenced to another suspended prison term. He has to pay his victim $1,000 and attend counselling. An emu has triggered a horror crash in South Australia that has claimed the life of a young boy. It began on Riddock Highway near Mount Gambier late yesterday when a black sedan hit the bird. A father travelling in an SUV slammed on his brakes to avoid the chaos, but his family's Kluger was then hit from behind by a ute. A 6-year-old boy was killed. His 13-year-old sister is fighting for life. The return of an iconic beachside restaurant is the latest in a number of developments to revitalise the shores of Cottesloe. Magic Apple will be opening its doors this week, with more multi-million-dollar projects set to follow.
A bite that's good for the belly and the taste buds.
The wellness market segment's huge and only going to get bigger over time.
On the dunes of North Cottesloe, Magic Apple will open its flagship store on Wednesday, with plans to expand nationwide.
There's a big gap in the market interstate, so we're already looking at Bondi stores and in Noosa at the moment.
Postcard perfect, Cottesloe is clearly in the sights of developers. The Ocean Beach Hotel will be bulldozed for a $220 million development, a 5-star hotel and 185 apartments. Step back and at Station Street, $200 million is on the table for 2 towers up to 17 stories, too high for council support.
A 10-storey height limit would be the maximum that the area could sustain.
Developer Serona Urban telling 7 News the town's decision is not a surprise and the proposal adds much-needed amenity and activity to the area. The decision is now up to the WA Planning Commission. Cottesloe is a tale of 2 cities. Beachside of Marine Parade is leased from council and it rules on developments. Cross the road and builds over $20 million are determined by the state government. The council had the deciding vote on Andrew Forrest's Indiana Tea House plan. The restaurant, spa and hotel proposal forced back to the drawing board.
We really welcome development, but not at the expense of the coastal village character.
A balance between infill and maintaining the core of the town. Lucy Murray, 7 News.
WA police have been caught on camera performing a U-turn and narrowly missing an oncoming motorcyclist. The patrol vehicle crossed double white lines on Ankertel Road in Kwinana yesterday. The bike following behind came close to crashing into the side of the vehicle. A Swedish adventurer is lucky to be alive after being found dazed and injured. It turns out the 48-year-old woman was bitten by a snake 4 days ago in bushland near Sydney.
In Kosciuszko National Park, a miracle. Swedish photographer Louise Herbury found alive after being missing for 2 weeks.
I'm just relieved that she's been found. It's great. She's a special person. She's got a heart of gold.
Described as a daredevil and expert in the bush, Kiki had been out photographing the Snowy Mountains Brumbies. Her rental car left at the old Kyandra courthouse, last seen driving in Jindabyne on October 15. The hire company told police they hadn't heard from her on October 21. 6 days later, she was found distressed and disorientated by a ranger in Kyandra.
She was wandering dazed through the bush and quite unwell as a result of what she believes to be a snake bite from a copperhead snake.
It wouldn't have been a very comfortable few days if she's been stuck out there after a bite with no first aid. It's potentially life-threatening.
Peter Cochrane was one of 9 people to search on horseback.
First you're dealing in a search for a needle in haystacks. Just extraordinary event. She's tough.
This area is vast and rugged. There's no town and almost no phone reception. Police say it is remarkable she survived.
I wouldn't want to have been out here overnight.
Tonight she's recovering in Cooma Hospital.
We just want you to just to get better and, we've got you back 100% in every way, shape or form.
Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
Fire has caused damage to radio studios in Bunbury. The fire broke out just after 3 this afternoon in the building housing Triple M and Hit FM. 7 firefighting units were sent to the scene on Spencer Street in the city centre and brought the blaze under control. Fortunately, no one was injured. The extent of the damage is unknown. A smart building revolution is underway, with mass-produced homes cutting construction time from months to just weeks. Property experts say it's a rapidly growing trend which could help solve the nation's housing shortage.
New designer homes built to lock up in as little as 10 days.
6 minutes a panel, you're looking at about an hour a wall. It's very fast.
The race to construct houses quickly is gaining momentum, with companies slashing building times by using pre-manufactured, pre-drilled components that clip together like a puzzle.
Very, very quick. You can see the site behind us here is a duplex. It's 2 houses. We'd expect this to be completed in 28 days.
Experts say these days modern prefabricated homes are greener, more affordable and highly fashionable.
I loved it from the word go. Overall, just less wastage, quicker and better and more beautiful product.
Some believe Australia is on the verge of a fast building revolution.
We've increased from 5% to 8% of market share in the last few years. We believe we're going to move to 15% in the next 5 years, and we're looking to get to 30% by 2033.
The industry is seeing modular homes fully completed in 4 months. Traditional homes take around 12 months to build and are subject to cost blowouts.
This house will stand a lot longer than most of the houses we build today. You can see the steel structure is precision engineered, and most of the product that you see behind me, it doesn't rot. It's aluminium and glass.
Jackie Quist, 7 News.
Some very lucky ice skating students enjoyed a once-in-a-lifetime lesson today with Olympic superstars Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean. The skating legends are in Australia to promote their farewell tour, which kicks off in June next year.
With this show, I think what the public can expect is to see us trying to tell our story of our career, where we began, how we started winning championships, and some of the routines that people would remember.
The routines include their gold-winning Bolero performance from the 1984 Winter Olympics. Getting the best deals in the lead up to Christmas. Australian shoppers reveal their top picks for value for money. That's soon. What you need to know is the 3G network is switched off. Plus, the Hollywood superstar who gate-crashed his own lookalike competition.
And coming up in sport, shock retirement as a rising star winner walks away from footy. Plus, the Aussies searching for a stand-in skipper, and awkward honour, the statue that went horribly wrong.
Now, Fuel Watch. Perth's petrol prices brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Taking a look at the market now, and the ASX 200 has closed up, gaining 10 points today. The big miners rallied, even Mineral Resources bounced back after weeks dogged by scandal. Gold is trading at $2,743 an ounce. 1 Australian dollar is buying 65.88 US cents and $1.10 New Zealand. 3G was launched as Australia's first high-speed mobile network 2 decades ago, but today the network is shutting down. Telstra and Optus are ending their services nearly a year after Vodafone's switch off. Phones manufactured before 2019 are likely to be impacted, as well as other devices like some EFTPOS machines and medical alarms. To find out if you're affected, text 3 to the number 3498. The stage is set for the Melbourne Cup Carnival, and this year is shaping up as one of the biggest ever. 4 headline acts have been announced, including Sophie Ellis-Bextor and US pop star Anastasia.
We can expect mayhem. No, we're not going to go mayhem. We're going to have a good time. We're going to play songs that people have fond memories of or breakup memories of.
The great race itself is getting more lucrative. It's now worth $8.56 million. Hollywood star Timothée Chalamet has surprised fans at his own lookalike competition in New York The wannabe Timothys paid tribute to some of his iconic looks, from Willy Wonka to June. But it wasn't all fun and games. Police slapped organisers with a $500 fine for hosting an unpermitted costume contest. And Ryan's here with sport now. Ryan, a shock footy retirement.
Yeah, that's right, Sue. A 25-year-old former Rising Star winner. Details next. Plus, Scott Pendlebury's warning for Collingwood critics. Also, stepping up, could these young West Aussies captain Australia? And the remarkable finish to an NFL thriller. 6 years ago, he won the Rising Star Award. Today, Jaden Stevenson's career is over. In a shock for North Melbourne, the 25-year-old told the club he no longer had the passion for the game, walking away from the final year of his contract. Stevenson and the Roos will agree on a payout settlement. His deal thought to be worth around $500,000. Collingwood champion Scott Pendlebury has fired back at suggestions the Magpies are the dad's army of the AFL. The 36-year-old spent time with footy's next generation of stars today.
He's well known for being a former basketballer, but Scott Pendlebury was happy to pass on wise words at a golf day run by one of the big player management companies today.
I think it's just great to connect with them and meet them and share stories.
His club now with the AFL's oldest list. Next season, the Pies will have a massive 10 players in their 30s.
As a club, you want to be all in, don't you? You want to be going for a flag, and as I said, we're an experienced list.
The Ashcroft brothers also hitting the fairways today. Levi preparing to be pick one in next month's national draft as a Brisbane father-son selection.
Do you want to go number one? Yeah, it's a dream, definitely. You obviously want to be the best player and recognised as that, but not the end of the world.
Levi got a close look at the Lions premiership thanks to his brother Will, who won the Norm Smith medal.
I only had not even half a year this year, so yeah, it's really exciting that I can get a full pre-season and work on all the things I want to get better at.
Cam Rayner now a Lion for life after signing a 6-year contract extension. And Caleb Daniel admits the Bulldogs lost faith in him last season, so signing with the Kangaroos was a no-brainer.
Probably through form and sort of a lack of trust from sort of some of the coaching staff and some confidence issues in my own ability.
The premiership player, best and fairest winner and All-Australian says he's still got a lot to give. Adrian Barrich, 7 News.
The Australian T20 team is in search of a stand-in captain after Cricket Australia made the decision to rest star all-rounder Mitch Marsh ahead of a big test summer. WA's Aaron Hardy and Josh Inglis are in contention to replace Marsh as skipper for the series, while fellow West Aussies Marcus Stoinis, Tim David and Cooper Connolly have also been named in the squad. The series against Pakistan begins on November 14. The Perth Scorchers have kicked off their WBBL campaign with a bang, beating the Melbourne Stars by 13 runs at the Wacker. The Scorchers made just 122 with the bat, but teen sensation Chloe Ainsworth was blistering with the ball, claiming the prized scalps of Meg Lanning and Annabelle Sutherland.
Boulder! Oh, it just continues at the Wacker for Chloe Ainsworth. What a year last year. Big wickets all the way through her season, and it started again.
World Cup winning captain Sophie Devine will join the squad for their clash with the Renegades on Saturday. Perth will be the only Australian city to host the Bledisloe Cup next year. The test match between Australia and New Zealand will be played at Optus Stadium on Saturday the 4th of October. The 2019 Trans-Tasman clash holds the attendance record at Optus after 61,000 turned out to see the Wallabies defeat the All Blacks 47-26. Mo Salah was on the money late in a gripping battle between Premier League title contenders Liverpool and Arsenal. The Reds fell behind twice but kept fighting back, Salah salvaging a 2-all draw.
Mo Salah must be! He does it again!
The rollercoaster season continues for Ange Postecoglou. Tottenham stunned 1-0 by cellar dwellers Crystal Palace. But at least it was a drama-filled Grand Prix in Mexico City. Max Verstappen copped 2 separate penalties for forcing title rival Lando Norris off the track.
This guy is dangerous. I just have to avoid a crash.
I don't want to complain about it, because I really, this is what I love.
Mad Max dropped to 6th, while Norris finished 2nd behind Carlos Sainz, cutting Verstappen's championship lead to 47 points. To the NFL, and with the game clock at 0 and down by 3, Washington had one last chance for victory over Chicago.
Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle! It's Noah Brown! Oh my goodness!
The 55-metre Hail Mary was enough for the Commanders to snatch an 18-15 win. And we've had some bad statues in the sporting world, and you can add this one of Miami Heat legend Dwayne Wade to the top of the list. The man himself was left with a few questions of his own.
Like, that's crazy. I can't believe that. Who is that guy?
Brings back memories of Cristiano Ronaldo's masterpiece 7 years ago. Now, Sue, I promise when we build a statue of you and Rick, we will get it right.
Like the one of the Queen where she looked like Mrs. Doubtfire.
What was that all about?
Amazing.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Ryan. With pre-Christmas sales about to begin, getting value for money will be the top of the wish list. Thousands of savvy shoppers have taken the guesswork out by voting for the brands and retailers that offer the best deals.
It's the million-dollar question. Does paying more guarantee the best bang for your buck?
If you spend that little bit more, it's better quality. It'll last a few more washes. Sometimes you have to spend a bit more.
To find out, comparison website Finders surveyed 10,000 Australian shoppers, asking them what brands and retailers offered the best value across a range of categories, from makeup to kitchen appliances, white goods and tech.
Not only value, but performance, maintenance and ease of use.
The item that ticked every box was the Kmart air fryer. The cheap and cheerful brand from just $59 won the people's choice for value.
Absolute game changer. Yep, it's the best.
Audi's own Born label took top honours in the TV category. If you can snag one in a special buys deal, a 55-inch will set you back $429.
Value and price are not synonymous. Sometimes things at a low price point actually have a great value.
For makeup, Chemist Warehouse, where top brands are often up to 50% off, ranked highest. And while it's not available in every state, the Best Value Bottle Shop was awarded to Audi.
8 weeks out from Christmas, getting bang for our buck has never been more important, and retailers know it with Click Frenzy and Black Friday sales just around the corner.
The full list of winners in the Customer Satisfaction Awards can be found on the Finder website. Jasmine Turlings, 7 News.
Sam Jolly's back now. Plenty of warm days ahead, Sam.
Yeah, we will be in the 30s for quite a while, Sue. Will it stay warm for the weekend, though? I'll have the updated forecast right after the break.
The duo has been on top of the budget truck behind me for more than 2 hours.
You don't think the people of Western Australia deserve a response?
The news team that never stops.
Nick Overall from 7 News.
The building owner telling 7 News it was broken into and robbed just 2 weeks ago.
7 News.
We were back in the 30s today, our warmest day in 2.5 weeks. We got to 31.8 degrees in the city this afternoon, just before 2:30, and it was warm last night, the overnight low of 14. Right now it's dropped to 25 degrees. The winds are southerly at 13 kilometres an hour. Our hotspot today was Perth Airport, 33 degrees. Ellenbrook was about the same. We had 32 for Jandakot. It was 30 along the coast in Yanchep, a cooler 28 for our south coast. We do have a high and a west coast trough working together to drive this heat. Heat is also starting to build in the wheat belt, with temperatures climbing 8 to 14 degrees above average. It will stay warm in Perth for quite a while, but the southerly winds will make it feel cooler along the coast. Looking at the national forecast, mostly sunny in Canberra tomorrow. 23 in Sydney. Possible shower for Brisbane and sunny and 25 for Adelaide tomorrow. And statewide, it's very hot for the Kimberley, the Pilbara and the Gascoyne again tomorrow. We have a mostly sunny 34 in Kalgoorlie, sunny and 28 for Bunbury, and then a top of 24 in Albany. And on local waters, southerly winds tomorrow tending southeasterly before dawn, then southeast to southwesterly early in the morning, seas and swell both peaking at 2 metres. So we're down to 15 tonight before a sunny top of 32 degrees tomorrow. It's staying in the 30s, sunny and 31 on Wednesday. Thursday will be our warmest day, 33 the top, 28 degrees Friday, then it cools right off for the weekend, a shower or two, and 21 Saturday, 21 Sunday, 23 next Monday. Now for tonight's winning lotto numbers, they are 38, 29, 41, 1, 15, 42 and 8 and 30. Those numbers again, 38, 29, 41, 1, 15, 42 and the sups are 8 and 30. Back to you, Sue.
Thanks, Sam. And that's 7 News for this Monday. We'll have updates throughout the evening. Enjoy the rest of your night here on 7.